Welcome back to the Vale Echo. Tonight we stand before a place shrouded in mystery, fear, and centuries of unanswered questions. At first glance, the towering silhouette of the mansion against the stormy night sky might seem like something straight out of a horror movie. But this is no film set, it is real, and it has a history darker than most dare to whisper. As the thunder rumbles above and the moonlight breaks through heavy clouds, the sight of this decaying structure makes you wonder, are we truly alone here, or are we already being watched? The journey begins at the crumbling stone gates, their rusted iron bars twisted and broken as if something once forced its way out. Creeping vines wrap around the stone pillars, as if nature itself is trying to seal this cursed ground away from the living. A broken wooden sign dangles by a single nail, swaying in the wind, the faded words keep out barely legible. Yet here we are, stepping past the barrier into what countless locals call the most haunted place ever. The path forward is no ordinary walk. Dead trees line the overgrown trail, their twisted branches stretching like skeletal hands in the mist. Each step feels heavier as though the ground itself resists our presence. Crows perched high above let out harsh cries, warning us to turn back before it's too late, but curiosity drives us deeper, and with every breath the fog thickens, cloaking the mansion in a ghostly veil. Then through the mist, the broken figure of the house looms larger. Windows smashed, shutters dangling, the roof half collapsed, it is a portrait of ruin. Yet what unsettles most is not its decay but the faint glow behind a shattered window. For a split second a shadow shifts inside. Was it a trick of the moonlight or something far more sinister? Crossing the threshold feels like trespassing into another world. The air changes, colder, sharper, biting against the skin. The heavy wooden doors creak open, though no one touches them, and the house seems to breathe in our arrival. Inside, a long dusty hallway stretches ahead, cobwebs draped across every corner. Above, a broken chandelier sways gently, though the air is still. A faint candle flickers at the end of the hall, casting shadows that dance unnaturally across the peeling walls. And then, the staircase? Ancient, cracked, each step groaning as though protesting our intrusion. From the top, the outline of a shadow stands just long enough to send a jolt of dread through the veins before it melts back into the darkness. The silence that follows is heavier than thunder, pressing in on every side. Here, at the gates of fear, every creak, every whisper, every shadow feels alive. The question is no longer whether this place is. The mansion had been silent, but silence does not mean safety. By now the air inside is thick with unease, each breath heavy as though the house itself is pressing down upon us. At first it is small things, the faint ticking of an old clock frozen at midnight yet somehow echoing with every step we take. A reminder that in this place time does not move forward, it stands still, trapping everything that has ever entered. Then the shadows begin to move. At first subtle, just a flicker in the corner of the eye, but then unmistakable. Figures glide across the main hall, translucent, their forms wavering as if pulled between two worlds. Their faces are pale, twisted in silent screams, reaching out with hands that never quite touch but leave the chill of ice in the air. The mist swirls around them, forming shapes, voices whispering just below hearing. The deeper we push, the louder the house responds. Doors slam shut on their own, furniture trembles, chairs scrape across the floor as though pushed by invisible hands. And then it begins, the poltergeist storm. Tables flip violently, glass shatters, debris flies across the room. What was once still and lifeless now bursts alive with chaotic rage. The air is no longer breathable, it's charged, alive, dangerous. This is no longer just a haunted place, it is a battlefield of the living against the dead. Through the chaos, the floor itself begins to split. Cracks tear open across the wood, glowing mist rising like smoke from another realm. From within, ghostly forms climb upward, hundreds of them, as though the house has opened a gate to release what it has held for centuries. Their screams echo, layered, louder than the thunder outside. They swirl in the grand hall, filling every corner with unrelenting terror. And then something darker emerges. A shadow that is not merely a ghost but something far worse. It crawls across the walls unnaturally, its form stretching, its glowing red eyes piercing through the chaos. Every other spirit recoils in its presence. The true master of this place has awoken. Its hands, if they can be called hands, reach outward and the very air grows heavy, pulling us closer, as though the house itself wants to consume us. Lightning crashes outside, illuminating the mansion one last time in a terrifying flash. The storm outside rages, but it is nothing compared to the storm within. The gates slam shut, the walls shake, and the house seems alive, pulsing with the screams of the countless souls forever trapped here. As the chaos reaches its peak, the storm suddenly dies. The mist pulls back. The mansion falls silent once again, its windows dark, its doors sealed. Only one thing remains, two glowing eyes watching from the broken window, ensuring that the legend of this place will never fade. The deeper we move into the mansion, the more it feels as though every corner has a secret waiting to be uncovered. The air is colder here, heavy with the weight of countless years of silence. Dust dances in the faint candlelight, and each step stirs whispers that seem to bleed out from the walls themselves. It's as if the house is alive, murmuring in a language just beyond understanding. The staircase groans as we climb, the wood splintered, threatening to give way at any moment. At the top, faded portraits line the walls. Their cracked frames hold faces long forgotten, yet their eyes follow us with unnatural precision. Some smile faintly, others stare with hollow despair, but all seem aware of our presence. The deeper we stare, the more alive they appear, until it feels as though the faces might crawl right out of the canvas. Down the corridor, the wallpaper peels in ragged strips, revealing dark stains beneath. Doors sit ajar, creaking softly as if someone or something has just passed through. And then on the walls, faint glowing handprints appear, pressed deep into the peeling paint. They flicker like embers, then fade, only to reappear further down the hallway, beckoning us forward. The first door creaks open to reveal a living room frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture sits in disarray, a piano with broken keys rests in the corner, its strings trembling as if played by unseen hands. Curtains flutter though no wind blows, and in the reflection of a cracked mirror, a faint figure lingers, too blurred to identify, yet undeniably human. Watching, waiting. The rocking chair in the corner sways on its own, slow and deliberate. Each creak cuts through the silence, echoing in the chest like a heartbeat. And just beyond it, the kitchen lies abandoned. Rusted pots hang from the ceiling, broken plates scatter the floor, and in the reflection of another shattered mirror, a pale figure stands behind us, yet when we turn, the room is empty. We press on, the tension tightening with every step. At the end of a long hallway, a woman in white appears, her form translucent, her face veiled by shadow. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, only watches. Her silence is more terrifying than a scream, and with a blink she vanishes into the walls. Another door reveals a room filled with dolls, their glass eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. One turns ever so slightly, locking its gaze with ours. The air grows colder still, breath fogging as the silence deepens. It feels wrong to stay, but something urges us forward into the attic above. The attic is a graveyard of forgotten relics. Old trunks and broken toys sit under thick webs, but at the center lies a Ouija board glowing faintly as though waiting for hands to touch it. Candles, though never lit, flicker with unnatural flames, casting shadows that bend and twist against the slanted roof. The whispers grow louder here, no longer hidden in the walls but circling us, closer, sharper, almost intelligible. Here, within these walls, secrets do not rest, they breathe, they whisper, and they warn. Once you hear their voices, you will never walk away unchanged.